Moving on to topic 2, let's talk some wrestling. All right, so I'm not going to Berlin, but we're going to be going to NXT No Mercy and Monday Night Raw next week. So I kind of wanted to give my predictions for Bash and NXT No Mercy, what's going on, what's going to happen in the matches, or what I think's going to happen. I think as of right now, as of recording, pretty much both shows have their cards all set and ready to go. I don't know if there's any kind of loose ends they need to tie up and plan for, but we shall see. Well, WWE's site is already inaccurate because I only see 4 matches here, and I know there's a 5th. So as of Bash in Berlin, or S4 rather, we got 5 matches booked. We have the women's tag team titles. We got Bianca and Jade going against Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. It's a tough one, these titles. They're trying. I don't know if we're all on the boat yet of the tag division for the ladies. Not that they can't do it, just in terms of investment. It's been a slippery slope. It's tough to call this one. I want to say Good Guys would just bring it back, and it would go back to Bianca and Jade. Not that I have anything against Dawn and Fire. I like those two. I'm glad they are actually being used and not just ghosted on SmackDown from the first call-up draft. I think this one's difficult to call because of just down the road picture stuff. If we're thinking of Mania, which seems like Triple H is thinking of Mania with the way he plans things, are we going to get a Bianca versus Jade this year? Are we going to get that dissension? Are we going to get that breakup? Are we going to get those two going at it? Potentially. If so, I don't know if putting the tag belts on them would be the best thing. This could be the start of more of the cracks being built or, shattering between the two. Also, I don't know if it's too early for that. That could be a moment where either they break up or hypothetically run into each other at the Rumble. That's where you get the friction, go through, the road to WrestleMania time. And then you can have that 3-month build from Rumble to Mania to have those two face off. So obviously now being August, you got 4/5 months until the Rumble. You got some time to play around with. So you could put the belts back on them. They do have some other heel teams that they can go against now. We got the Pure Fusion Collective over on Raw that they can go against. Damage Control is face? ? Seems like they're headed that way. Trying to think of what other teams. I guess you could do Nia and Tiffany because they're besties now, even though Tiffany's got the Money in the Bank briefcase. But I digress. You could have them. Is it bad that I can't think of the women's tag division? I think I was just trying to think of bad guy teams. You got Piper and Chelsea, haven't really done much all that often recently. I think they're still buddy-buddy in the backstage, but I don't know if they've tagged together in a while. Chance Carter or face. Anybody else? I guess we had Isla and Alba go to NXT and they fought the Metaphor, but they're good guys now. You could have them go against Fatal Influence. That's a new team name. Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and Jasmine Nix. Yep, that's her name. I guess you could have, Bianca and Jade go against them, do the face-heel dynamic, perhaps. I guess this shows how strong the tag division is. There's not a lot of names just popping off the page here. So, we'll see. That one I can't put a hard, definitive guess on. I'm going to lean towards it going back towards the good guys. Give it to Bianca and Jade, especially with that 5-month gap. Till Rumble time, if we're even going to do them bashing or fighting each other at Mania, I guess that would be the way it would go with that. Next, we got CM Punk and Drew McIntyre in their strap match. Well, Drew got the win at SummerSlam with the special guest referee. We got Seth and the whole bracelet stuff. I know people are upset about the bracelet thing. I thought it was fine. I'm a little burnt out of this rivalry, to be honest, which is a little weird because, I feel it's been going a long time. But granted, they've had injuries and they've been able to play around with that, which I thought that was great. I just felt like that should have been the climactic finish, was those two there, but I guess we're going to get a best of 3 potentially here. So the strap match doesn't excite me all that much. They're certainly going to beat the crap out of each other, but I think Punk perhaps takes this one, unless it's going to be another Drew win, and then the third one, the anchor, even though he hasn't won any, would be Punk's moment of like, yeah, finally defeated the big bad. I don't know about that, but I'm leaning towards Punk on this one. I'm a little stale on the rivalry, where I was going with that point, which is a little weird because we've had longer storylines going, like the Bloodline stuff, but I'm kind of liking the Bloodline thing. So I'm a little bit hypocritical with that, but whatever. So I think Punk wins this, and then we move on to Bad Blood in October. Yeah, people are saying Hell in a Cell, these two. We'll see. Punk wins. Next one, we got Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley going against Dirty Dom and Liv Morgan in the mixed tag. Okay. If there's no shenanigans, this should be the simplest prediction ever, right? You know, you don't have Judgment Day, aka Street Trash, joining in here, Finn interfering, Carlito interfering, JD McDonough interfering. You don't have any of that. Should be cut clean dry. Damian and Rhea rip them apart, and they win. Don't know if they're going to rip them apart, but I feel like you do have to give them the little upper hand here. They can win, and then you can move on to the singles thing with Rhea and Liv doing the rematch for the title, either next or down the line. Where does Damian go from here? I assume he's got to get his comeuppance for Finn, right? So that would be his next stage. So I think they get the win here, the good guy team, and then they can move on with their own stuff. Yeah, I think that one's cut dry. But it really depends on the shenanigans. Really depends on that. Next one, we got Cody Rhodes defending the Undisputed title against Kevin Owens. Okay. We've had some teases about KO potentially turning bad as of last Friday, kind of doing the little run-up with the belt, but then stopping and just handing it to him. And then, what was the silly line he said to Cody about Waller and Theory as they were yelling at him? Oh, no. I don't remember. It was something along the lyrics for Cody's song. Hold on. Now I'm too invested to just leave this up in the air. Someone's shouting at me that's listening like, hey, they said this. Kevin Owens. Oh, God, I can't type. Cody Rhodes. It's a D, moron. There you go. What did he say? What did he say? What did he say? Really? This isn't a top clip? Well, this joke just fell right on its face. That is a shame. Oh, well. Moving on. So, I don't know. I think Kevin should go heel. He hasn't been heel in a little while. Not that I don't like good guy Kevin Owens. I just don't know what would be next, per se. Like, you could do this friendly rivalry match right here between Kevin and Cody, okay? Get them through this pay-per-view. Have a rematch where Kevin's more aggressive and he's his full heel as we saw him back, throughout the years, beating up Sammy and whatnot. You could give them a run back. It buys you a little bit more time with what the Bloodline's doing, and I don't know who else could step up and face Cody in terms of a big heel on SmackDown. I feel like he's run through a decent amount on that side. I know Orton could be in the conversation. He certainly could jump in at that point, but Orton's currently busy with Gunther, as we'll talk about soon. Excuse me, so we'll have to see. Papa Griff says they'll have a good old scrap, then get beat down by the bad Bloodline. See, they certainly could. I would hate that. Well, I mean, it makes sense logically, I guess. It would just be a shame. Maybe perhaps they finish the match clean, then the beatdown happens. That could help get Kevin and push him a little bit off the edge, or They interfere like you say. Ref doesn't see it. It's not a DQ, but it still costs Kevin the match. Then Kevin gets angry at all the BS that's happening. Tries to go after Cody again. The bloodline stuff, if they interfere again, it makes sense logically because what should their goal be? To get the title back, right? And Roman's back going ooh-ah really loud with everybody. They got to deal with him too. He wants the whole journey to get the Ula Fala. I think I said that right. Roman hasn't hit the point, perhaps, yet where he's like, ah, shit, I need help. He took his first beating. He beat the shit out of Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga. Okay, he did that. Fatu comes in with his boot, takes care of him. Okay, great. So we got the Monster Enforcer back. What's going to push Roman over the top to be like, hey, I got to get the band back together. I got to get Jimmy Uso. I got to get Jey Uso. I got to get Honorary Uso and whoever else. There's got to be some moment that he's like, uh-oh, I'm the tribal chief, but I'm not Superman. I'm not God. I got to get help. So I feel like he's got to take another ass whooping. And I don't know if what you could do is have this match. Bloodline interferes. Roman Uaz comes out again. He's like, yeah, I'm the man. Hikuleo comes out. Personally, I don't think Hikuleo is that big a deal. Yes, he's tall, so literally he's big. But the gleam I've seen of him over in AEW, not a shot at AEW, just where I've seen him wrestle. It's like, yeah, he's tall, but he's not like Jacob Fatu. Holy shit, he's a monster. Unless we can present that whenever we debut him, I don't know if Hikuleo would be the domino tipper to have Roman go, oh fuck, I'm in trouble here. So you could do that, go boom, 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 have that little Tetris match. Also, then we'll see. Bobby Griff also brings up, otherwise, why put KO in this match? Got to pursue instead of tossing Cody another heel contender, unless there's just no one. Yeah, I just pulled up the SmackDown roster to see what kind of heels we are dealing with that Cody hasn't fought yet. So let's take this journey down together, right? All right, he's fought AJ Styles. Good match in France. Okay, cool. I don't know why Ashante the Adonis is still on the SmackDown roster. He's down on NXT. All right, you got Theory. He's involved with tag stuff. You got Humberto Carrillo. Nope. Carmelo Hayes is doing his program with Andrade. Cody beat him first draft night? Second draft night. Not for the title, but still. You got Elton Prince. Yes, boy. No, he's doing the musical with Kit. You got Grayson Waller, similar to Theory there. Jacob Fatu. Not yet. You got to wait on that. We just talked about Kit. Logan Paul. Check. Did that. Gallows Anderson are down in NXT, so I don't know why they're on this roster. Come on. Who's in charge of this website? Santos is doing U.S. title stuff. Shinsuke. He had the match? No, that was pre-title. That was Monday Night Raw. And the subtitles. Good. But Shinsuke hasn't been around to my knowledge. Solo, check. Tama Tonga, not happening. Tonga Loa, not happening. And that's it. So, there's a few options. Get a Shinsuke in there for a run back. If you wanted to elevate Santos or Carmelo, you could do it. You just got to put some momentum behind them. Not that they haven't. I just don't know if general audience, people are like, oh yeah, I could see and believe so-and-so going into the main title picture there. So I think like Owens and Orton are both main event caliber people. So you could have them have this shot, But yeah, it's a good question of like, is it just friendly competition or do they go to the dark side? Then you got to start questioning like, okay, well, who's the main good guys over on SmackDown other than Cody, who like in terms of big picture? Well, it's Owens and Orton, but is there anybody else if they did go to the dark side? And I don't know if we have anybody yet. I'd love for Johnny and Tommaso to be in there. They're not there yet. LA Knight's got his US title, so he's kind of already wrapped up and stuff. Not that we haven't seen champion versus champion before. Roman, duh, but Roman's busy with Bloodline. So, unless we get a Cody Roman super team, maybe. So, it's a big question mark there. I don't know. I don't know who they could fit in this slot that isn't Bloodline per se. And that's kind of surprising to say that there isn't that depth, I thought. But I guess it's already people he's gone against too that we're talking about. So, I don't know. Kind of too bad big Bronson Reed's over on Raw and Gable. Yeah, those could be cool matches. Yeah, like we talked about today, Papa Griff. Glad Bronson's getting the push he's getting. We'll have to see how this match against Braun Strowman goes come Monday or whenever that is. Excuse me. So we'll have to see there. Gable would be cool. Obviously, he did great with the IC program with Sammy. Now he's doing the Wyatt stuff, which, don't get me wrong, it's a feel-good stuff, but it's also like, oh, American Made kind of looks silly in this moment. Could have kept the momentum on Chad a little bit there and elevated him as, like, big bad or like, people don't like him. But he's doing his thing, and I get it, and I appreciate it. So, I don't know. Both Cody and Kevin and Cody and Orton, I'm sure both matches are going to be good. I'm sure they're going to be great. It is a lot of question marks in the air of, are the two opponents going to turn? If so, what is the motive that makes them turn? And then, how much is the bloodline going to be involved in Cody's business? Is it going to be a little bit of a gap because Roman's now back? Now their focus is going to be on Roman, or Roman will keep getting in the way and diverting them of that ultimate goal of the belt. Maybe that's what's happening. So you could have Roman cause the disruption, like big picture, cause the disruption for Bloodline 2.0. They can't get close to the title. They can't do that. And over time, Jimmy can also lead that, or not lead that, but help in that. Jay, Sammy, as we talked. I don't know how you get Jay, Sammy over to this side. I have no idea how we're getting to War Games, where everybody thinking Bloodline v. Bloodline type thing. Because, I mean, not that they've been the strictest about this ever in their lifetime of history, but Jay and Sammy over on Monday Night Raw, how do they get over on SmackDown? The draft ain't for a while. Why would you trade them away? Whatever. So, a lot of question marks in the air. I think it's obvious Cody's retaining. I think Cody's holding on to that son of a bitch for a while. I think it'd be a fun shock at some point for Cody to lose it. But I feel it's kind of obvious, or it feels obvious, that Cody's going to be holding on to that till Mania, then everything's up in the air. We shall see. Let's see. Papa Griffin chat, seems almost like they're stuck running this bloodline thing out till at least Survivor. Even then, don't see where they go next with Cody without some new faces. Unless we both run Theory and Waller by him, which could work, I suppose. Doesn't make Cody all that strong necessarily, but got to work with what you have. True. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, is A-Town Down Under, are they breaking up? That's a whole nother layer to it too. I don't think people want to cheer Austin Theory. I think we all have a taste in our mouth that's really hard to wash out. I mean, I like Theory, but obviously, in terms of the grand scheme of things, once again, the general audience, like, they attach him to Vince. They think of the stupid Money in the Bank cashing on the U.S. title when there was an open challenge. They think of just him being stupid, you know. I don't know if that breakup is going to make necessarily one guy's a face, one guy's a heel. Well, yeah, that works. That's the terms. I think it would both be heel, and Grayson, I'd love to see him in that main picture, spot. That'd be cool. He obviously promo skills has it down, so that's just like any people we talk about. I think that's just a matter of building that investment in the audience to give the perception of like, oh, this guy, granted, like we said, isn't going to beat Cody, but it makes sense he's in that spot. And right now they've been in that tag teams division, which isn't a bad thing. It's just that's where our brains automatically go, oh, they're a tag team guy. You know, you got to play the magic rearrange game, but have us go, yep, that makes sense. So it could work. So Bob Griff also says, who knows what the Forbidden Door opens in WWE. When Punk is done with Drew, he strolls over and knocks Cody's door. True. Which, that's a whole nother ball game of like, how do you get the people over? The Rumble, obviously, that's a free ticket there. But that leads to Mania, and Mania, we think Dwayne is coming back in whatever capacity, to do his part-time tenure. So perhaps, but they could work out some trade. Who knows? Anything is possible. It's not easy to think where Punk goes from here. Is he just going to get chopped by Gunther at some point? We'll have to see. Speaking of Gunther, let's talk about probably the main event. Gunther versus Randy Orton. Another simple one. Gunther's going to be retaining, but I do appreciate that we're tying up loose ends. That whole shoulder thing at King of the Ring. Hey, easy thing. Let's just have him fight for the title here. We need an opponent. Fill that slot. That's great. I don't have much to say about this one. Gunther's going to win. It's going to be loud as fucking Germany for Gunther. Good for him. Chop the crap out of Orton. Orton don't rip anything. The end. I also don't know if this will potentially also help push Orton to that place or that side of him to be more vicious. And that kind of bleeds over where that self-control, hypothetically, of the good guy is lost. And then he can lash out at Cody, and then that could lead to their program. Perhaps. Who knows? Time will tell there. Ooh, a double turn? I don't think Gunther would be permanent face. I think it would just be like situational babyface type thing. Yeah, if you heard the reactions, I think it was last Monday in Florida, Gunther was getting booed pretty hard. So no, I think it's just more of situational because of the location. I would have loved, dream scenario, I would have loved Ilya to be in this spot. But I get it there, tying up loose ends. So you can slot Orton in there. It's a quick one because most people, it's the first defense. They're not going to change, usually. So it's a safe thing to be like, we can logically clean this up, and it's not a big deal because it is the first title defense, whatever. It would have been awesome to see Ilya and Gunther 3, but we can wait. Ilya's been kind of missing from television since the whole Ricochet Braun Breaker shit. I hope to see Ilya in this Intercontinental title tournament that starts tomorrow as of recording. I'm sure he'll be back in that tournament. I think the only confirmed participant we have right now is Jey Uso. But yeah, get him in there and build him, please. So yeah, Bash in Berlin. Should be fun. Looks mainly predictable, but that's okay. As long as they have a good time, I'm sure the European audience is going to kill it again, and we'll have some fun there. So, moving on from the main roster, let's talk about NXT No Mercy. There you are. It's like, where the frick? Alright, so, similar to Bash in Berlin, we do have what I presume to be all the matches announced. Sadly, I want more matches. But as of right now, the matches that we do have, interesting. See, it's weird because on NXT television, there was a fifth, I'm going to fight you at No Mercy, but there's no, faceplate card for it. So it's is it legit? Is it not legit? We'll see. So the matches we do have right now, there are 4 with the pictures. We have NXT Tag Team Champions Chase U going against Nathan Frazier and Axiom in their rematch. Okay, all right. NXT. So, for a while now, Frazier and Axiom have not been butting heads, but they've been kind of on this trajectory of both of them are trying to pursue their own singles careers. So first it was Nathan Frazier. He was going after the Heritage Cup. He was going after the Speed Championship for the Twitter program. And Axiom's like, man, where are you? And he would always show up, and eventually they would connect to defend their titles, all that stuff. It seemed like Frazier's focus was elsewhere, and then it kind of caused a little bit of friction, but they were able to defend. Then Axiom was like, yeah, you were right, man. There were no problems here. I'm going to go do my thing. And now Axiom's been going in the speed tournament and doing his thing. They finally lost the tag titles to... they defended them 1 week in Great American Bash against MSK. Woo! And then Wesley had his heel turn. Ooh. They defended him there. And then the next week they defended him against Chase U, Andre Chase, Ridge Holland, and Chase U won. Frazier and Axiom, hands and head. Ugh. So we're like, uh-oh, is this the breakup? It wasn't. So they're getting their rematch at No Mercy. This match can be fast-paced with those two. I'm looking forward to it. Chase U, I'm looking forward to putting up the U. I'm looking forward to doing the Chase stomps. Hopefully we get to do that. It's going to be hype as shit. I don't know if I can predict this one, which isn't good for predictions card. Because if Frazier and Axiom are going to break up, if they're going to separate, okay, I don't see either of them being a bad guy. Not that you have to do a bad guy out of this. It just seems like the tension is there. And then if you're going to turn, who's going to be the turn? If Axiom's going to turn heel, does he rip off the mask? Does he become A-Kid again? And then we do this A-Kid heel character? That could work. Frazier, on the other hand, I'm struggling to think of a character for Frazier. He was doing this kind of weird Jon Stewart night host gimmick like a year ago, where he would like, the hard-hitting home truths, and like make fun of people almost. I don't know if they were trying to make him a heel there, or it was a snarky comedian thing of like a funny good guy. It didn't really work. So I don't know if you go back to that and make him more of the annoying guy. However, both of these guys' movesets do not scream bad guy to me. However, you could also shove that back into my face and being like, well, there's a lot of AEW people who are heels who have a very impressive moveset. You have Carmelo Hayes, who has an impressive moveset, and he's kind of a dick. That's true. Fair enough. I think Axiom makes the most sense here because you could remove the mask. You can have him be just himself. Well, his face. Go the A-Kid route and have him heel there. I'd be intrigued to see that. I just don't want to see either of them be bad guys selfishly. So my prediction here, Chase U retains. We get whatever official fracture of this team. Whatever it is officially, either we see that breakup or they just go back to doing single stuff. Like Axiom was great in the North American title picture. Last year's Stand and Deliver. Maybe it was the previous year. I don't know. That Fatal 5-Way. Did great stuff there and around that time period with the North American picture. I don't think Frazier's had any North American title stuff. Also, you have a heel champion right now, which we'll talk about later, but you could slot either of these guys to face him in there. I think they could definitely pull off a good show and a good match. Perhaps even be believable for a champion to get an upset because they putting in the work. So we'll see. Chase U retains. Keep an eye on Frazier and Axiom. See what they're going to do. Next match we got in here is the NXT North American Championship. We got Oba Femi defending against Tony D. I think the destroyer of NXT, or whatever he calls himself. I think Oba Femi's going to win this one. Oba's been doing a great job running through a lot of people, whether it's Wesley, Ivar, Otis. He's been having a lot of good matches with a lot of variety of wrestling styles. So I think Tony is just another step in the stepping stones here of building Oba and giving him more reps and more comfortable in his role. Tony's obviously been in NXT for quite a few years now, so he's kind of, it sounds weird to say, the vet in NXT, so he can kind of help those quote-unquote younger talents or greener talents with what they're doing here. So I think Oba will retain. Tony will just get a good match out of him. The next one I'm probably looking the least forward to, and just because it's a very weird dynamic and unfortunate circumstances don't allow for talent like Julia or Stephanie Vaquer to be involved in this, but it's the NXT Women's Championship match. It's Roxanne Perez against Jada Parker. Roxanne's very impressive. I despise her heel character, and not like a, oh yeah, you're a heel, haha, I should hate you. I kind of just liked her better as the good guy, and her heel promos are very annoying, but it doesn't matter. And then Jada Parker is also a heel? So you got a heel v heel mechanic here. How does that work? I don't know. I'm sure the ladies are going to do a great job. I'm sure it's going to be a good match. I haven't seen a lot of Jada. What I have seen of her has been okay. She still feels newer to me. So I don't know what to expect from her. Ultimately, it's just that weird dynamic of bad guy versus bad guy. Selfishly hoping for a Julia or a Stephanie at this point to debut, just because they've been signed for a little while. That's what I was hoping for, but sadly not the case. I guess Julia is still recovering from her wrist injury that she suffered a while ago, and then I think Stephanie Vaquer has visa issues. I think that's what's going on with her. They've also signed Delta from Australia. Don't know anything about her, and don't know her situation. So, perhaps we had Julia be in the crowd a few pay-per-views ago for NXT, so maybe we get a crowd shot of Vaquer or Delta there. Who knows? And, we still have 1 week of TV NXT. Things can change. I thought Sol Ruca was going to be an easy fit for this to fit in, to go against Roxanne for that Eliminator match, but it was not the case. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, see if any changes come down the road before the first. And then the last one, we have NXT Championship, Ethan Page versus Joe Hendry. Do we believe the crossover is going to crown another superstar from a different brand as champion? I gotta say, I believe. This is so hype. All right, Lady and I were looking forward to this with that triple threat number one contender. Me being me, I'm like, oh, Pete Dunne, love to see him. Oh, Wesley, love to see him. Joe Hendry, I saw you back at Bound for Glory, whatever that year was. Didn't know who the hell you were. Love to see you now, because I get it now. I think this could be it. I think this could be the comeuppance or the turnaround for the TNA WWE relationship of like, you know what? We're playing ball. Give Joe the title. He's definitely got the fanfare behind him, had an insane sign this past Tuesday at NXT. There's been signs on the main roster. There's been signs on PLEs for it. Obviously, the Impact and TNA audience, what the hell? Okay. has been going crazy for him over there. The whole climbing the music charts across seas. This man's been putting in the work, and it's finally paying off. I like Ethan Page, but I'm all in on Hendry. I don't know what they do after this. If it's just setting up Trick's eventual rematch down the line, perhaps that's where they would go for Ethan if Ethan did retain. But I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on this. But Hendry's my pick. Now, I mentioned those are the 4 official matches. There's a 5th that was brought up of like, I'm going to see you at No Mercy. And it's the Women's North American title. It's Kalani Jordan and Wendy Chu. It's not official, so I don't know if that's happening. I'll be excited for Lady to see Wendy Chu, if that happens, to see her reaction of like the character. Yep. I'll leave it at that. But Kalani kicks ass. So that'd be cool to see. Selfishly, saying there's not an official 5th match here, what are some other matches I'd love to see? Well, I'd love to see Wesley wrestle. It's a shame he's a bad guy now, because I wanted to see MSK and the Rascals, but that's not happening. However, we did have Zachary Wentz, Nash Carter formerly, get his comeuppance and attack Wes after the triple threat number 1 contenders match of the last taping, or show rather. So they're obviously going to be fighting each other. I don't think, unfortunately, that's going to be at No Mercy. Granted, once again, there's still an NXT show happening come Tuesday, so that could change. I think that show is also taped, though, so we could probably find spoilers somewhere and look that up, but I will just stay here and pray. So I don't know if we'll see Rascal v. Rascal. And then we also have the story going on of Trick Williams and Pete Dunne going on. Pete kind of pulling double duty, going after Sheamus on the main roster, but he's also been fighting Trick on NXT TV. Trick cost Dunne in that triple threat to have Hendry win and get the pin to go against Paige. So could we see Trick and Pete at No Mercy? Now that would be hype for two reasons. One, I like Pete Dunne. But two, whoop that Trick. Come on, the crowd's always nuts for that when he comes out. So selfishly, please let this match or card have like 8 matches. I don't think they will, unfortunately. Let me, just for the science of it. I don't know if I can easily look up their past premium live events. Of course, what was even the last one? It wasn't Great American Bash. It was... Let's see. There was Battleground. Let me look at Battleground. I don't think that was the last one. That was probably the previous one. NXT Battleground 2024. That had 6 matches. You're telling me there's a chance. Okay. So, potentially... we got 4 confirmed. We got the weird 5th one with the Women's North American Championship. Let me just look up NXT PLE, see what pops up. La 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 la, na, 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 2024. Where the hell are you? No, I don't want 1998. What are you doing? This is all the WWE pay-per-views, I guess. Okay, Heatwave. Heatwave was the last one. What did Heatwave have? Heatwave has 6. Oh, one was the pre-show. Yeah, I mean, still, I could be hyped for the pre-show. Battleground. Okay, Battleground had 6 on the main show. Heatwave had 5 on the main show and 1 pre-show. We'll see. Everybody cross your fingers. Maybe we'll get Trick. Maybe we'll get Pete. Maybe we'll get either of the Rascals. We shall see. So yeah, predictions there. I don't, like I said, Chase U I think retains. Hendry new champion. I think I don't put a prediction on the women's match. I think Roxanne defends so we can set up for potentially any of those names I did throw out in terms of Julia Vicaire or Delta. Or Cora Jade. I know she's been rumored to come back from her second ACL tear. And then North American Obafemi's retaining there, but Tony will get a good match for him. So we shall see. But yeah, excited for both shows. Excited for Monday Night Raw the following night in Denver. Should be a great time. And yeah, we'll talk about all the fallout on next week's podcast so we can see how right I was or how wrong. Probably wrong. We'll see. This has been another episode of the Wait, What Do We Talk About podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911, and you can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma911. You can drop a follow over there. You can get notified when we go live. You join on the fun and conversation like Papa Griff did with us today. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week. It's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, any way you can support the show, like, shares, subscriptions, whatever it is. It may seem small, but does help the channel grow. So if you take the time to do that, we would love and appreciate you for it. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching today. Hope you guys have a good one. And I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye, guys.